The movie kicks off in 1989, that golden age when mullets were considered fashionable, shoulder pads were weapons of mass intimidation, and Game Boys were treated like holy relics. A young boy named Tio is outside, playing soccer with his friends, convinced he's the reincarnation of Diego Maradona. Except Maradona is still alive, but why let facts get in the way of imagination? Tio is the kind of kid who will happily trade homework for a few extra minutes of glory with a football. One of his friends literally does his schoolwork in exchange for access to his sacred Game Boy, proving that even in the 80s, kids knew the barter system better than economists. After the game, Tio bolts home like he's in the World Cup finals. Meanwhile, his older brother Oscar is busy being the responsible one, reading their missing mother's research instead of chasing a ball. Their mom was a scientist who studied wormholes, basically cosmic trapdoors that make Einstein roll in his grave. She disappeared years ago, and Oscar is convinced she got stuck inside one of those swirling space noodles. While feeding his beloved turtle Pepe and cooking dinner, Oscar is already planning to become a scientist like his mom so he can bring her back. Tio, on the other hand, is convinced by neighborhood gossip that mom simply ran off with a married coworker. If small-town gossip ever gets weaponized, humanity is doomed. That night, Oscar listens to music until his grandmother walks in whistling their secret family signal, proving she's the cool kind of grandma who doesn't just bake cookies. She also doubles as a stealth ninja of emotions. She tells Oscar to cut his brother some slack because playful kids don't grow on trees. Well, technically they do grow, just not on trees. The next day, Oscar goes to the shopkeeper for stories. The man's daughter Elena shows up, and suddenly Oscar experiences the teenage equivalent of a Windows system crash. She invites him to her dance rehearsal, but Oscar is too shy and says no, which is basically the story of his love life. Later, Elena tries again by inviting him to the movies, but Tio barges in and announces his brother is way too busy. In the sibling Olympics of sabotage, Tio is going for gold. Oscar retaliates by ratting him out to their grandmother, who promptly catches Tio sneaking back in through the window like a budget Spider-Man. Things get worse when Tio finds the last folder of their mom's research and turns it into a fleet of paper airplanes. Brilliant scientific notes on wormholes. Perfect material for origami. He slips one page with coordinates into an encyclopedia for safekeeping. Though safekeeping and Tio rarely belong in the same sentence. One day, while eating a banana on a rooftop, because why not, Tio accidentally discovers a glowing vortex that gobbles up his trash. He tosses in roller skates, random objects, and probably considers throwing in his math homework too. It's a cosmic garbage disposal, and he's thrilled. He runs home to tell Oscar, who's less than impressed once he finds out his precious research has been folded into dart planes. They fight, and in classic younger brother revenge fashion, Tio throws Oscar's turtle Pepe into the vortex. That escalated quickly. Feeling guilty later, Tio sneaks back and jumps in after Pepe, because what's childhood without impulsive, life-threatening decisions? The wormhole spits him out 33 years into the future, 2022, where he thankfully finds Pepe chilling in a bush like nothing happened. Tio sneaks back into his old room and passes out, only to wake up the next morning to see his brother walk past. Except now Oscar is all grown up with a beard, teaching physics at a university, and still acting like he carries the weight of the cosmos on his shoulders. The world has changed. Elena is now a mathematician. Oscar is still hopelessly in love with her. Their grandmother is very old and slipping into dementia, and Oscar is described as a kind man who never really moved on from losing his mother and brother. Meanwhile, Tio is marveling at flat-screen TVs, smartphones, and the fact that time apparently forgot him in the room that Oscar preserved like a shrine. Oscar faints when he realizes his brother has reappeared from thin air. When Tio learns it's 2022, he starts teasing Oscar. Finally, Big Bro admits wormholes are real. Tio proves it by showing the old photograph of their mother near the vortex. Together they return to the rooftop wormhole, only to find it's now an exit, not an entry. Wormholes, trickier than IKEA furniture. Oscar explains smartphones, leaving Tio amazed that one device is simultaneously a phone, a camera, a game console, and a machine that can ruin your social life. The brothers then visit Oscar's boss, hoping for help. Instead, they get dismissed as lunatics. It doesn't help that Oscar's past panic attacks have earned him a reputation. Tio finds it funny until he learns panic attack doesn't mean attack involving panini stickers. At home, they meet Camila, who helps care for their grandmother. Tio introduces himself as Diego Armando, named after Maradona. Unfortunately, Camila breaks the news that Maradona is dead, shocking Tio like someone just spoiled the ending of his favorite soap opera. They realize their mom's coordinates list is missing, last seen tucked inside an encyclopedia. Except nobody uses encyclopedias anymore, since Wikipedia exists. Their grandmother casually mentions she donated all of them to the shopkeeper. Of course she did. Oscar tells Tio to stay put while he goes to fetch the books. Naturally, Tio immediately sneaks out and causes chaos with a VR headset in a shop, racking up 1,200 euros in damages. Future Tio is shaping up to be a menace. When they finally go to the shopkeeper's house, Elena appears with her kids Alba and Pablo. Tio is smitten by how Elena grew up, blurting out compliments with the smoothness of a brick. Oscar searches for the missing page while Tio entertains the kids by grilling them about Nintendo Switches and tech he doesn't understand. Alba, a sarcastic teenager, treats him like he crawled out of a cave, which, to be fair, isn't far from the truth. Later, over dinner, Tio struggles with sushi, a food he can't even name, while Oscar panics about Elena being in his house. Their grandmother blurts out truths that make things awkward, like casually announcing who her real grandson is, because dementia has no filter. Still, Elena begins helping Oscar with his wormhole calculations. She proves smarter than him in math, which is both humiliating and attractive for Oscar. Slowly, the old spark reignites. Meanwhile, Alba keeps roasting Tio, who pretends to be mysterious but is really just bad at covering up the fact he's from the past. Eventually, Tio sneaks away with Alba and Pablo, determined to test the coordinates on his own. He miscopies them, of course, and instead of returning to 1989, they land in 1949, a decade where Wi-Fi is science fiction and genes are rebellious. Alba's phone is useless, and Tio warns her not to go to the police because time travelers would probably get dissected faster than frogs in biology class. To survive, they put on a fake Psychic Street show using Alba's Bluetooth earbuds. It works until a mysterious young man kidnaps them and delivers them to a guerrilla camp. The leader interrogates them, and the whistle signal convinces them they're allies. Then, a young woman appears, their grandmother Maria, but in her youth. Tio recognizes her instantly, realizing his grandma was way cooler than she ever let on. Revolutionary grandma with an AK-47? Unexpected plot twist. Back in 1989, adult Oscar and Elena arrive through the wormhole. They hide in their old house and witness young Oscar crying over Tio's disappearance. Adult Oscar breaks down seeing his younger self in pain and whispers encouragement before leaving, making his own timeline feel like a cosmic therapy session. Meanwhile, in 1949, Tio convinces Maria to take a photo with them. He ducks out of frame at the last second so history won't record him, then scribbles 1949 on the back. Decades later, adult Oscar sees the photo hanging on the wall, realizing the kids are trapped in the past. Oscar and Elena race back through the wormhole into 1949, reunite with the kids, and even meet their future grandfather, a man who flirts with Maria using pastries. Oscar immediately recognizes them as his grandma's favorite snacks. Romance apparently starts with baked goods. After heartfelt confessions and emotional talks, the time comes for Tio to return. He doesn't want to leave 2022, but Oscar insists. He tells Tio that disappearing broke him and begs him to go back. For once, the brothers truly connect. Maria helps send them off, the pastries in tow, proving love and carbs are timeless. Tio jumps back into 1989, hugs his brother, and tells their grandmother an epic lie about bandits kidnapping Pepe. Oscar is furious at his dishonesty until Tio finally shows him the smartphone he smuggled from the future. That's when Oscar realizes his brother wasn't making things up. Their mother didn't abandon them. She got stuck in time, and Oscar must keep studying to save her. Fast forward 20 years, the brothers are grown, living together, still playing video games like kids. Tio has a son named Diego, because of course he does, and their grandmother is doing better with family around. Elena returns after a divorce, and Oscar still freezes whenever she enters the room, proving love is the one equation he'll never solve. And in a post-credit scene, because every movie needs one, their mother finally stumbles out of a wormhole in the Middle Ages, greeted by monks who probably assume she's a sorceress. Honestly, at this point, maybe she is.
That's all for this movie. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos.